Kikamjeni volcano is an active submarine volcano or seamount in the Caribbean seafloor, 8 kilometers or 5 miles north of the island of Grenada. The South American tectonic plate is subducting the Caribbean tectonic plate to the east of the ridge and under the Lesser Antilles island arc. We've been seeing hundreds of earthquakes a week in that area, hitting Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. And they're not small, and they're anywhere between 3 to 3.6 magnitude, and it's rocking there daily. Daily, about 20 to 30 earthquakes. Kikamjeni submarine volcano has an orange alert. That's the second level before the red, which is eruption, of course. In yesterday's video, we mentioned a number of orange level volcanoes in Alaska, the Aleutian Islands, as well as Hawaii, the Kilauea volcano. Scientists identify types of eruptions of underwater submarine volcanoes by their sounds. There are two types of submarine eruptions. One type created by the slow release and bursting of large lava bubbles, and another type created by quick explosion of gas bubbles. Lava can affect marine animals and ecosystems differently than gas, so it's important to be able to distinguish the two. Scientists have been able to connect sounds to sites in both types of eruptions. In 2009, a video camera and hydrophone were floated 1,200 meters below sea level in the Pacific Ocean near Samoa, watching and listening as the West Mata volcano erupted in several ways. Putting video and audio together let researchers learn the sounds made by slow lava bursting and the different noises made by hundreds of gas bubbles, meaning that it would be a quick eruption. Some undersea water volcanoes are called asphalt or tar volcanoes because they emit and explode tar and petroleum. The Canadian First Nations Indians, the American Indians, were using bitumen from the vast Athabasca oil sands to waterproof their birch bark canoes. Asphalt volcanoes are a rare type of submarine volcano seamount, first discovered in 2003. Several examples have been found, first along the coasts of the United States and Mexico. Resembling seamounts in structure, they are made entirely of asphalt and form when natural oil seeps up from the Earth's crust under the water. Asphalt volcanoes are ocean floor vents that erupt asphalt instead of lava. They were discovered in the Gulf of Mexico during an expedition of the research vessel Sonne, led by Gerhard Bormann of the DFG Research Center Margins. One of these volcanoes, previously unknown, highly diverse ecosystem at a water depth of 3,000 meters, was discovered. So, as we see, the Kikamjeni volcano is in the Gulf of Mexico. It may very well be an asphalt tar volcano erupting pieces of tar and methane and petroleum with it, as well as debris, pumice rock and various volcanic rocks with it. So the BNO News article on July 23rd, submarine volcano near Grenada may erupt within hours, could pose tsunami threat for Caribbean, is due to the fact that a statement from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has been issued because Kikamjeni can erupt within hours and could pose a tsunami threat for countries in the Caribbean. Should they say, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center says, should a tsunami occur, waves would reach Grenada with just a few minutes. Tsunami were large enough to expand further, it would reach St. Vincent within 10 minutes, Martinique and Tobago within 30 minutes, Barbados within about 40 minutes, The warning center said in its statement, a very large tsunami could potentially reach the northern coast of Venezuela to the south and the Leeward Islands and Puerto Rico within an hour and a half of the eruption. So the Seismic Research Center, SRC, of the University of West Indies has issued this orange alert for the Kikimjeni underwater volcano. The orange alert means highly elevated level of seismic and/or fumarolic activity or other unusual activity. The eruption may begin with less than 24 hours notice. Fumarolic activity, from what I've read, is those little gas bubbles that come up with gas or hot or cold water. Instruments monitored by the SRC recorded strong continuous seismic activity from the volcano between 1:25 and 3 a.m. local time, July 23rd, suggesting an eruption could occur with less than 24 hours notice. Signs of elevated seismic earthquake activity began July 11th and continue to the present. Well, we see this every so often. It's an average of about 20 to 30 quakes in the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico region. That's the volcanic arc which goes to the submarine volcano of Kikimjeni. The undersea volcanic eruption can displace the overlying seawater, generating tsunami waves, and the amplitude of these waves and area threatened depends upon the size, depth, and nature of the eruption. If a tsunami occurs, the waves could reach Grenada in a few minutes and Venezuela and Puerto Rico within an hour and a half. The tsunami hazard would be confined to the Caribbean region, however. The SRC recommends that shipping vessels stay outside of the first exclusion zone, which is 1.5 kilometers from the summit of Kikimjeni, and that non-essential shipping such as pleasure craft stay outside of the secondary exclusion zone, which is 5 kilometers clear of the summit. Now, another dangerous phenomenon occurs with an underwater volcano in that the gas emitted makes the water less dense, which means that the ships traveling in the ocean water don't have the same buoyancy they would have had in regular seawater, and they sink. So this is a very dangerous aspect of underwater volcanoes. We have some of these in Greece where I live, and that explains why we sometimes see tar and oil slicks on the surface, as well as gas bubbles coming out of the seawater, hot and cold water, as well as little gas bubbles, and pumice rock floating. And we don't understand where these things are coming from. Well, today I've learned something. It's coming from underwater volcanoes, because where we usually go, it's the island of Nisyros in the Dodecanese of the Aegean Sea, just off the coast of Turkey near Kos, the island between Kos and Rhodes. And we do have underwater seamounts, because the island of Nisyros itself is a volcanic island, as is Santorini, as is Milos. In yesterday's earthquake video, we made a mention of the orange level volcanoes of the United States, the Aleutian Islands, and the west coast of California, north to south on the San Andreas Fault. I'll leave a link below for you for this article concerning the Kikimjeni Grenada volcano eruption.